Some may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
The Bears.
Because of the way they play the nickel corner here, and the nickel corner plays 88-85% of the snaps. He's got to be like part linebacker.
The Bears.
When you're in a scouting room, there's going to be differences of opinion.
The Bears.
Once coaches get involved, of course, they've got their own opinions about what fits best for what they want to do, and that could be drastically different than what the scouts say.
Well, you're looking at traits, and remember when he tested very, very well.
The Bears.
One thing good about Kevin, he's been with 2 other organizations, as well as being the commissioner of the Big Ten. He's been around.
The Bears.
With Greg Olson, Jerry didn't want to get rid of him. I didn't want to get rid of him. Nobody wanted to get rid of him. One guy wanted to get rid of him, Mike Martz, because Mike Martz didn't know what the hell to do with him. We tried to talk Lovey out of hiring Mike Martz for a month and a half. He's playing zone, but number one, he doesn't get enough depth with the drop. But who the hell's giving? How many times does a 305, 310-pound defensive tackle drop into coverage, especially in a key situation?
The Bears.
Greg, why are teams wrong on quarterback evaluation so often?
Number one, it's a hard position to evaluate. There's probably not as many real good quarterback evaluators as there needs to be.
The Bears. The Bears. The Bears.
Welcome, everyone, to a very special edition of GTF, Gabriel Talks Football. And you know why it's a special edition, because Greg's guest today is none other than Brian Baldinger. Brian, welcome to the bar room.
I appreciate that, Aldo. Greg, it's good to see you guys. Good to be with you. Nice
Great.
to talk football with you today.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to step into the background, collect questions from people in the chat, and you and Greg go at it, have some fun, okay?
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Do you remember the first time we met, bro?
Well, I'm sure maybe Bobby DePaul was somewhere in the vicinity.
No, it was actually out in Arizona. Before the dentist screen, they were who we thought they were.
Oh, yeah. That was a Monday night game.
Yeah, that Sunday night, you,
Yep.
me, DePaul, Kurt Menifee,
Yeah.
my stepson, a bunch of others went out and had a few pops.
I do remember that now. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I figured Bobby was around, but I didn't know if that was that weekend, because I do remember that game. I remember actually being in the press conference the next day when Denny made that statement.
Right. That was a long time ago. That was 19 years ago.
Yeah, I know, Greg. It's kind of hard to figure out like where it all went, why it goes by so fast, and just exactly what era was what, because they kind of run together a little bit.
Oh, they do for sure. So I wanted to ask you, because I know you've been to Bears camp. I know you were there with Stacy one day. And you've done a lot of breakdowns on the Baldy breakdowns. What's your overall view from what you've seen of this team?
Well, I think they're getting a dose of what they need. I think they're getting some hard coaching from Ben Johnson. It's been very physical, just talking to some of the players and hearing some of the comments. I feel like Ben Johnson is a guy that, he's waited his turn. He could have been a head coach in other places before this. But I think he was waiting for the right opportunity, and he's putting a stamp all over the team. And I just think even the signing of Tyson Bagent last week, I feel like everything is directed at the quarterback. And some of the, not necessarily mind games, but he's gone out of his way to praise Tyson Bagent this preseason. And I just think, the fumble on the first play last week was sloppy. They were sloppy. Like, he's just not afraid to call guys out, whether it's the quarterback, the defense, whatever, when he doesn't like the way things are going. And it just seems like it's been forever since we've had a Chicago coach. Maybe you got to get as far back as Ditka, where a coach really coached like maybe Lovey at times, but that wasn't really his style to do it publicly. But it's been a long time since I think we've gotten hard coaching in Chicago.
Lovey wasn't a screamer, but he'd look at you, and that was all he had to do. But he would never. I think Ben Johnson's the first guy that I've been around since Parcells that really told it like it was to the media. The media asks you a question, he gives you the answer. There's no coach speak.
No, there's no filter. And I love it. And honestly, I think it's refreshing in Chicago. The last regime was a joke. And we just go through them, but it's not worth the time because the performance on the field spoke for itself. But like he's just not going to put up with nonsense and poor play. And, you could just tell pre-snap penalties, and he's lighting fires under certain positions at players, whether it's left tackle right now. I mean, it's the way it's supposed to be. And you're right. I mean, Parcells was a master. There's only been one of him. But, I'm anxious to see, like, how this – because the coaching in this division is very good. And I feel like Chicago has been team number 4 for a long time, especially once O'Connell got in there. And we've seen what LaFleur has done and certainly what Dan has done in Detroit. You're getting great coaching in this division. And there was just time – I feel like – not that Ben is comparing himself to anybody else. He's his own guy. But I feel like this has been missing in Chicago for a long time.
I've always thought that it's really a coach's league, and they're the difference maker from team A to team B. And I just think that when you look at Detroit and you look at what they lost on the coaching staff, that people don't understand how big that is for them.
Well, I go back to Dallas days, Greg, when we lost Dan Reeves, we lost Mike Ditka, we lost Gene Stallings. And, I said back then in the 80s, like, it's harder to replace great coaches than it is great players. And we'll find out. We'll find out if losing AG and some assistants and, losing Ben in Detroit is going to be difficult. We'll find out. And I think Dan Campbell knew he was going to lose some of these guys eventually. You go 15-2, you're going to lose coaches. Losing an all-pro center is really difficult to overcome. Losing a steady standard at right guard in Kevin Zeitler is hard to overcome. So they've lost a lot. And we'll see if in-house they can replace those guys. But generally, that's difficult. That's a difficult assignment.
No, it's at least for my experience, it is. One thing I got to ask you before I forget, and before you get out of here, I didn't know until a couple days ago when I was going through your bio that you went to Nassau Community.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, do you have some connection there to the Lions?
Yeah, I played, and I don't know if you guys played them then, but I went to a JC first. I went to Dean, which was up in Massachusetts, right next to Foxborough. We used to play Nassau every year, and they used to kick our ass. Do you remember if you guys played Dean?
We did not play Dean. But we played a lot of quality programs in Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland. We played a lot of good, and we played Penn State's JV every year. So to beat Penn State JV, and this is back when, the freshmen, basically like Joe Paterno was basically redshirting all your freshmen,
right?
And then getting them ready for varsity the following year. To beat some of the guys that were on their teams that went on to become NFL players, that was always a big deal.
I remember when we used to play that. Them and Hudson. Did Hudson Valley have a team?
Hudson Valley. We played Hudson.
Hudson Valley and you guys were the two best teams we played.
What we
for
played
the 2 years I was there.
We played Westchester, but Lee's McRae in North Carolina was really good. I think they became, so there was, it was good. Like I said a long time ago, Greg, nobody ever goes to Nassau. They just end up there. They started someplace else. You know what I mean? Like we all had, we all had goals of going someplace else, and then we end up at Nassau. And so that's what happened to me. That's what happened to a lot of the players. And then we went there, and I'm still friends with some coaches that are still around with us. We still talk about some of those days, but Nassau has turned out they probably turned out 8 or 10 NFL. Rasul Douglas just got signed today. I mean, he's a Nassau community guy. There's probably like 10 of us over the course of, these years that have gone on to play.
I didn't know that. That's good. Did you play Baltimore Junior College too?
We played Hartford Community College in Maryland. Okay. Hartford Community College. They had a running back, Greg. I want to say Randy McMillan went to Hartford Community College back when I was playing against him.
And then you go on to Duke. So going Nassau to Duke, that's a hell of a jump.
It was a good jump. It was a little jump academically, but I was ready for it.
I scouted your brother, but I didn't scout you. And Parcells is the one who said we got to go down to Wake Forest and see this Baldinger guy.
Yeah, and Bill was Bill. I mean, we could spend this whole podcast talking about Parcells, but it was interesting. My brother got drafted by the Giants in the 10th round. I was a free agent in Dallas. My brother was a 10th round pick of the Giants, and Billy Ard was there.
What year was that?
That was 82.
Okay.
And the year before, you guys drafted Billy Ard out of Wake Forest. I'm still best friends with Billy Ard. My brother's still best friends with Billy. That was sort of the foundation to some of those good offensive lines in New York. But I remember my brother made it his rookie year. In his second year, Parcells traded my brother to Kansas City. And he played 10 years. He played for Marty out there in Kansas City. And then when Parcells got the job with the Patriots, he traded back for my brother. And he went there. Drew was their quarterback they just drafted. They wanted to put guys in front of them that knew what they were doing. So they traded back for my brother, like in his 12th, 13th year, whatever, with the Patriots. So he finished up with Parcells.
I just loved my whole. I was there for, I think, 9 years with Bill until he had his first retirement, and just a wonderful time.
Yeah. I could sit here and I could tell stories about Parcells forever. I mean, I've gotten to know him, and he was a coach of the Cowboys. I was doing games at Fox and be in the room with him, and we rarely talked about the game, but we talk about Wellington Mara. We could talk about anything, anything, honestly. Like, the guy had an amazing ability to connect with just about anybody.
The best.
Yeah.
So getting back to the real stuff.
Yeah.
Who do you like as the best teams going into the season? I know it always changes. There's going to be a team that wasn't in the playoffs next year that's going to be a surprise, like Washington was, and get into the playoffs and maybe go far in the playoffs.
Well, I'm looking at that giant helmet behind you there, Greg, and I've been around the Giants in the offseason, in the summer camp. Like, they have a chance. They have a chance. If the offensive line stays healthy, which has been a problem, but they've got some depth there right now. This Marcus Bowe from Purdue, I think, can play whether he starts or not. Like, I think they got a chance. And defensively, they have a chance to be really good. And they play Washington week 1. The schedule is murderous, but everybody can beat anybody in week 1. Nobody knows what they have. I always say in today's world, Greg, that September is the new August. Nobody knows what they have or what they need, or what's broken or what's missing until your third week in September. And it happened to the Eagles last year. They got blown out by Tampa week 4. They had a bye week, and they basically said they changed the offense. Like, they put it in Saquon's belly, and, they rode him. Quarterback averaged 21 passes a game. They didn't turn it over. They got on a win streak. The defense came together, and they developed. But I like the Giants. I like Minnesota. I don't know what J.J. McCarthy is, but they just picked up Carson Wentz, who I believe still has good football left in him. The team around the quarterback in Minnesota is elite at every position. The coordinator is elite. The scheme is elite. The offense line is improved. The running back situation is very good. Like, the coach is great. Like, I feel like the Vikings have a chance. I don't know what JJ is going to be. Nobody does. But the team around the quarterback is really good. I know that.
Well, they're hurting, though, at receiver, aren't they? I mean, Jefferson hasn't practiced yet. And then
Jordan Addison is suspended.
Yeah, you got a guy being suspended. So you got a guy that's probably, he's probably going to play. He's probably going to be good to go in game 1. But who's going to be working with him at wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3?
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Naylor will step in at 3. Maybe he can upgrade. The tight end situation is very good. Last year at this time, T.J. Hawkinson wasn't even playing. Like he was still recuperating from a knee injury, and he got on the field the second half of the season, became a real factor in the middle of the field. Like I think the running backs are really good. I feel like they'll cobble that together. Justin Jefferson is the best in the business, and so you can't feed that guy enough. But Jordan Addison certainly has a role, and he practiced throughout the preseason. He'll miss 3 weeks, but he'll be back out there September 28th.
What's your take on, I know you were there just one day, but you've done film and stuff, on Caleb, on his difference between last year and this year?
Well, I would say this, Greg, and not even just last year. If you go back to USC, like it's night and day difference. Like he literally looks like he's chained to the pocket. Like he doesn't want to go and he doesn't want to leave. Like he's content to stay there and basically survey the defense and make his reads. And he looks like I feel like it's been ingrained in him. I think they probably him and Ben have sat down. This is the way it's got to be. You running around and playing hero ball is not the way we're going to play football here. And I don't know if he can become Jared Goff and get rid of the ball on time and get sacked 31 times over the course of 17 games. I don't know, but I think he can get his sacks cut down in half, Greg. Like it looks like it's a real concerted effort. There were moments last year, and they were only moments where he did, win from the pocket. But the offense made very little sense last year to me, especially on third downs. I don't know what they were doing. Like I feel like
you and I both.
It was a red shirt year, Greg. I feel like this is like it's hard coaching, and everybody needs it. And quarterbacks need it, require it. Phil Simms got it from Parcells. Like I think he's getting hard coaching. I know the talent is there. I know the mind for the game is there. I've known that kid since his junior year of high school. I know it's there. He's just one of these guys that has to be coached hard, and because I think it's a very disciplined approach, and it's a very good design of the offense. You could see it in the first preseason game. You want to bootleg. There's Loveland. Just take the completion. Don't wait for something to break open deep. Like take the completion. Take your 8 yards. If you read the coverage, Tampa 2 on the second play on 2nd and 2, and there's Cole Kmet down the seam, take it. Take the shot. And so I feel like it's going to be – I feel like it's going to work for Caleb with Ben.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. People don't like checkdowns. There's nothing wrong with a checkdown. It's 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah,
it puts you in it puts you in a situation to keep moving the chains.
Move the chains. There's going to be times to take your shots, and they've got players that can go get it. I mean, obviously, Rome and DJ are guys that can go get the ball. I think this Loveland can really run. If you want to make a comp, he reminds you of Laporta in Detroit. I think that's what they see in him. So I mean, they've got a lot of good pieces, and so their problems were they take sacks and penalties last year, and they were third and forever, and it was just ugly. And so you want to stay out of those situations right now.
Okay, so then that leads me to what do you think they need?
Well, I don't know if they're set at running back, to be honest with you, Greg. I mean, I know what DeAndre Swift has been, and for him to go play 17 games, that hasn't happened much. I don't know what Rashawn is, to be honest with you. I think that's a little bit of an issue, especially if you come from Detroit with what they had in Montgomery and Jameer. I mean, that was an elite 1-2 punch, and I don't feel like they have that in Chicago. Not that I want to compare everything to Detroit. I don't. That's not fair. It took a while to get to that backfield that they have. I got to see what the offensive line like. I'm a fan of Darnell Wright. I was a fan coming out. We haven't seen great consistency from him. We see flashes. I got to see a consistent, performance from him. And then we got to see what they do at left tackle. I don't know if Ozzy's in contention right now, or Braxton's situation with the kid from British Columbia is. Like they got to get that established right now. Who their best five are, and I don't know that they know who their best five are.
You know, he got, you probably didn't see it. He got asked at his presser was at noon our time. He said, you know, what's the left tackle? And he goes, I'm not ready to name a starter yet.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's a problem. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. There's still 2 weeks to go. But, you know, you'd like to think that you'd be further along at that position. You got to get it right. You can't be juggling guys. You got to get 5. You know, Tooney needs to know who he's playing next to. And you got to start getting that timing and connection and communication right. The tight end's got to know who that guy's got to be. Caleb's got to know who that guy is going to be. So it's not the ideal situation right now. It's not a situation that you know that he's come from in Detroit. They knew who their 5 was going to be the last 2 years.
But you're in Philly, so what did you see Manon guy that much at Temple? Or no, he's at Rutgers. So did you see him at Rutgers?
No, I didn't. But I see enough Rutgers games and tape when I'm getting ready for the draft because I have a guy that does all Rutgers, so I'll watch tape for him and give him my plan. But I don't really have a great feel on him right now.
I really like him. He kind of reminded me of the first comp I came up with, and this goes way back to when I was with the Giants, was Joe Morris.
Wow. Well, I'm not saying something if that's the comp, Greg, because we all know Joe Morris was a great player for, you know, a good stretch with the Giants.
Yep. You got some questions, right?
Yeah, I've got way too many, so I'll cut some of these down for you, Baldy. The first one comes from Carl over at the Science, my podcast. He's not real happy with the selection of Ozzie Trapilla, or I should say he's not happy that Ozzie didn't win that left tackle job. So what's your evaluation of Ozzie? And he asks, how should the Bears proceed if Ozzie isn't the clear-cut starter at left tackle by the end of the season?
Well, a couple of things. One, I mean, Ozzie was mostly a right tackle at Boston College. He's 6'8". These guys have a hard time bending. And I thought he had some trouble with that at Boston College. You know, in the run game, you want to stay connected to whoever you're blocking. And he would fall off guys, like guys that are that tall, that don't have a great base and great strength often do. And there's an inconsistency that comes with it. Now, he can get stronger. He can be better coached. But I thought it would be, when I saw him at left tackle in training camp, I thought it was not going to be as easy as sometimes it is. I thought it might be a little difficult. And so that's what I've seen right there. I thought it was going to be tough to start right away because I think he's young. I think he needs to get stronger. It's a good program. They turn out a lot of good offensive linemen in this league. But I thought that he was going to need at least a year just to get physically stronger, especially in his core, to be able to go up against some of the guys he's got to compete with.
Yeah, and then when we're switching sides, when you play your 2 last years in college on the right side, you got to go to the left side. It's not the easiest conversion to make because everything's reversed.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. I remember Tristan Wirfs was the first team All-Pro right tackle in Tampa, and he went to left tackle. And I remember talking to him in preseason. He was a dominant left-handed puncher at right tackle. And he said he literally started eating with his left hand and doing everything as much as he tried to it took him almost a whole year before he started feeling comfortable at left tackle. And he is an elite athlete. So it's different for different guys. Some guys, I didn't have a hard time going right side, left side at different positions, but that was my role, to be a backup for much of my career. But it can be very difficult for some players.
Bradley Jensen wants to know what you think this Bears defense will be like, considering how bad they looked against the Chiefs. He's worried about the run defense and also Tyreek Stevenson, the cornerback.
I watched Javon Dexter just get wired and owned by Trey Smith. I know it's preseason. Trey Smith is a great player, but I thought I'd see a little bit better than what I watched. I mean, I probably watched 15 snaps of those two going against each other. It wasn't pretty. I don't know. Like they've got problems at pass rush. It's not a secret. I mean, it's a weakness of this team. Like I love Montez Sweat. I love the effort and I love the body type, but he's not a great pass rusher. But he's a good piece to have. It's great to have that kind of length at that position. Not many guys are 6'6", 275 that can run like that. So there's a place for Montez, but it's not like you got to go double team Montez Sweat. You got to build a game plan around stopping him. The pass rush is a problem. You can't scheme guys to the quarterback without putting a real pressure on your secondary right now. And I don't know what's going on with Jalen and when he's going to be ready, but maybe you guys know better. But it looks like it's a real problem right now. And I know Austin last year was a rookie, and I know he had a good preseason. I know Deo was a guy they picked up from Indianapolis, but I haven't seen anything from him. So, and I know it's just preseason, but the pass rush looks to be a problem right now.
Levante wants to know if you've got a guess on whether the Bears will win double-digit games. Are they going to win at least 10 games this season?
Well, I think it's the best division in football. And to make a jump to 10 games it'd be what Washington did a year ago when Washington made that jump. It doesn't happen every year. But I would say if they get to 10 wins this year, if they get to 10, I don't know if that's going to qualify or not, that would be an amazingly successful inaugural season for Ben Johnson.
Let us go to Cornelius asking about Isaiah Foskey, who was released today or put on waivers, the former Notre Dame defensive end. What do you know about have you seen any tape of him recently, Brian, and share any thoughts?
Well, I'll run this through Greg. Greg, have you seen him make a play in the NFL yet? Honestly. Like I like
Dennis Allen drafted him, and he hadn't done anything.
Oh my goodness!
And I liked him coming
out of Notre Dame. I did. I liked him coming out of Notre Dame. I liked his size and came out of an elite program, and he looked like a hard worker, and he had, he was, the right type of character, all that stuff. I haven't seen him do anything at all. Now, sometimes guys need to change the scenery. You got to, some of these guys, second round pick, Notre Dame, that type of, competition, it's worth a look. But honestly, he was given some chances. I haven't seen him. I saw him in training camp this year. You don't even notice him. And now they've made a lot of mistakes on the defensive line in that program, probably as many as any team in this league. You go through the list of guys. And a lot of these guys are on the street or out or on their second and third teams right now. And so Peyton Turner comes to mind. I mean, you just go through the guys. Like, they just have not developed in that program. And can Foskey do it? Like I said, I haven't seen him do anything so far.
I'd like to squeeze two more in here. Samuel is asking, what do you watch for and take from preseason games?
Well, I watch for everything. I'm looking for guys that pop off the screen. I was watching this Aiden Huntington from the Cleveland Browns the other day. This kid, he made the team, but I haven't seen a guy like he reminded me honestly of Russell Maryland. Like he's 6 foot tall, but he plays 6 inches off the ground. Like all he does is keep moving. He doesn't stay blocked. Like he's got some pass rush to him. He can bend you're just looking for players. And, and then, guys that, you're looking through the whole rookie class, rookie offensive lineman, is Will Campbell going to be Will Campbell's going to be fine. But, you just look at these guys and watch them. And then there's certain programs, you watch like a Drew Kendall, he was drafted, out of Boston College by the Eagles. Just watch the guys that the Eagles draft in the offensive line. They're going to get coached up. Like he's going to be a player in this league. The center had back surgery last year. They might need a center. Like Drew Kendall proved he can play 3 years at Boston College. I think he can play. He looked good this preseason. He played a lot of football for the Eagles in these 3 preseason games. I'm watching Isaac Tesla in Detroit, and you're like, I like him better than T-Mac. I mean, he's faster. He's tougher. he's more explosive, and he looked dynamic. No, it's preseason. I get it, but I don't know. Like,
that guy's got a great story. I mean, he started off.
It's an unbelievable story, Greg. Like,
Yeah.
state championship in football, state championship in basketball, state record in long jump.
Wow.
Dad played at Hillside. He went to Hillside.
Yeah.
No offers, goes to Arkansas. Like, I don't know. Like, did we all miss on that guy? Third round pick. He looks like, I don't know. He looks like the real deal to me.
Detroit knows how to draft. I'll tell you that. All right, last one for you, Baldy. Let's take care of our friends across the pond. Brian is asking if you're going to be on Sky Sports UK for the upcoming season. He's hoping and wishing and praying.
Yeah, I tell you, I love Sky. I was there for 10 years. Neil Reynolds does a great job. I don't think I'm going to be a part of some of their international game coverage in some ways, but I won't be on like I had been in the past.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what you are doing for this upcoming season. Your Baldy's breakdowns on X are probably the best thing on that app. And what else are you doing?
Yeah, I do a national radio broadcast for Compass Media. I do the national game of the week. So I'll be doing the Eagles and Cowboys on September 4th to kick things off, and then heading down to Washington to do the Commanders and Giants, and do Philly and Kansas City the next week, and the Rams and Philly the following week. We have a great schedule. I'll be doing some college football games this year. I'll be doing Notre Dame, Arkansas. I'll be doing Texas OU on national radio. I'll be working for the NFL Network all year round, and I'll be working at Odyssey and All City Sports. So I do a lot of stuff for certain teams in this league, so a lot of breakdowns for them. So. But you'll see everything, Baldy NFL on Twitter and X and Instagram and throughout. So it's a busy year, but it's the way I like it.
Fantastic.
The way it should be.
Yeah.
How long have you been scuba diving?
Greg, I'm here in Fort Lauderdale right now, and I've been scuba diving since I was in college. But I fell in love with free diving. So I live right on the ocean here, and I can walk out my back door, and I'm 100 yards off a reef. And if it's a calm, clear day and I got a free hour, I'm on that reef, because you never know what you're going to see. I saw some, a school of barracuda today. Saw a big, leatherneck turtle the other day. Like, I never know what I'm going to see. So I'm just trying to get like some of these real professional free divers. Like, I'm kind of a wuss right now, Greg. I can hold my breath for a minute. I'm trying to get 3 minutes. So when I get to 3 minutes, I'm going to let the whole world know about it.
I love it.
Good luck.
Indeed.
Baldy,
Brian,
thank you so much. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Yep, good. I'll be in touch, Greg. If you need me for anything, just let me know. Thanks.
I want to know where I can get one of those T-shirts. I love it.
Yeah.
Hit me up with an address, Greg. Let me see what I can do.
Okay,
Those are
buddy.
beautiful.
Okay, you got it, guys.
Take
See you
care.
later. Thanks, Baldy.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. What a great guy. What a great guy. So again, how long have you known him?
Well, I've met him a couple times, but I got to that night before we played Phoenix, the Devin Hester game and Dennis Green game. Kurt Menefee from Fox, Baldy, Bobby DePaul, my stepson Nolan and his friend Pat, and a couple others. We went out bar hopping in Phoenix that Sunday night. And
Nice.
we went past midnight.
Of course. I love it. Well, we've got some catching up to do. Ryan Poles is, I don't know if he's still meeting with the media, but I've got some people already commenting on some of the things that he said. J2K is asking you. Ryan Poles just said that Karan Amagaji is now working at offensive guard. Good move, or should he have stayed at left tackle?
I think you want to, well, first of all, versatility is important. We saw that last year. Guys go down. So there's that part of it. And then there's the part that you got to get him in a position where he can play. And if you're going to have Benedict as the swing tackle, or not swing tackle, Ozzie and Benedict being your two backup tackles, at least going into the season, the way it looks, then you got to put him in a place where he's lining up also.
Yeah.
So I've seen some guys, and we had a guy, and I don't remember his name. We had signed him as a free agent, a veteran free agent years ago. I think he was with Tennessee or somebody before that, but was a guard, real long arms, like Amagaji has, and he struggled getting hands up quickly because they were so long. But then last year, prior, he's got arm length is very similar. He's almost as tall and arm length as similar, and he's actually better at guard than he is at tackle. And Amagaji's Amagaji's a way better athlete. The guy's got too much talent. He's got loads of talent. He's been, eaten up by the injury bug last year. I mean, the one injury, the college injury, it took longer to heal coming back from the surgery than was expected. Then when he's starting off camp pretty good. And I'll tell you, he's played good football the last 2 weeks. But he's starting off camp and he's playing good. He's in the mix, and then he gets hurt and he has to miss 8 days. You can't afford to miss 8 days.
Yeah, he's had some hard luck. There's no doubt about that, and hopefully that luck will change.
I had a thing here, and I lost. Let me get it. Biggs, here it is. Biggs had some.
Trap Keeper says availability is the best availability, and he's never available.
Waived injured were Tysheem Johnson, Kramer, and Bill Murray. So if they clear waivers, they go on IR. You can keep the guys on IR if you really want to keep them, or you do an injury settlement. And if they do an injury settlement, let's say it's another 5-week injury or something like that, then basically the injury settlement is you're paying the guy for 5 weeks. You work it out with his agent. You can't sign him or re-sign him until after that period, that length that's written in the injury settlement. Somebody else can. Another, Team B can. Chicago Bears can't, if they in fact do that. The other thing he put out was regular IR was Agbagminia and
wow, you nailed that pronunciation there.
I think I did. Hey, I'm just throwing darts at the wall here, buddy.
I hear
you. There was one other. The one running back, the special teams running back, he was put on IR. Both designated to return, so they can come back after 4 weeks.
Travis Homer?
Yes.
Okay. Sports Chicago Style says that Poe said rookie cornerback Zay Frazier will miss the 25 season. The personal issue he is dealing with is something the Bears discovered after he was drafted, and it's something that stems from before he got to Chicago. Poe said Frazier will spend time in meetings, the weight room, and with the medical staff, etc. That's disturbing, but it happens, right? You hope that your scouting team is going to uncover everything, including personal issues, but sometimes things just slip away.
There's some stuff that all of a sudden just comes up.
Yeah.
And I don't want to jump to conclusions because we don't know what the issue is.
Right.
So it just, they like the kid, they like the talent. They're not going to say goodbye to the talent. They're going to give him to lack of a better phrase, give him the year to get his head right.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, he's learning.
Yeah. He's got a lot of talent, and Al Harris, the defensive back coach, was really excited when he was drafted, so hopefully that'll all work out. Brian Gilmore is asking, how do teams let others know who's available for a trade during the countdown? That's just working the phones, right, Greg?
Yeah, call them up, tell them.
So
just say, hey, look at XYZ. We've had some people interested. You got to lie a little. And and whatever, if you got any interest, give me a call. Now, on the other hand, now teams will call you. Hey, I'm short an offensive lineman. You got somebody you may want to trade, and then they'll say, yeah, this guy. And they'll take a look at the tape and see if something, you can do something. But generally speaking, when you're talking, guys that are traded on days like today, it's 6th and 7th round picks, flip-flopping picks, stuff like that. It's not like, every once in a while there's somebody you got to pay for.
Right.
And to go back, how many times we had to deal with questions and all over Twitter that Hendrickson got traded for Hendrickson. And I said 1,000, he is never getting traded. Doesn't happen. And Parsons isn't either.
Right.
Those deals will get done. Same thing with the receiver. Now, this team doesn't need a receiver, so nobody talked about the receiver in Washington. Otherwise, they would have. Those guys don't get traded.
Right. With Ja'Day Walker now making the team and all of the depth that the Bears have.
Now let's just calm down a little bit. What the team and it's not just Ja'Day Walker, it's anybody.
Yeah.
What the team looks like right now.
It's going to change.
It's 342. What it looks like at 342 today is not the one it's going to look like next Wednesday at 342.
Absolutely. Yeah. So are you saying that perhaps Walker could be off the 53-man roster?
No, I'm just saying that I'm just saying that as an example because you brought up his name. He's earned a spot because one thing we talked about was he had to play on specials, and then I remembered, when we were at that joint practice, he was running as the number one gunner on the punt drill. He was running with the ones, and then he makes the tackle on the kickoff after he scores the touchdown. So I mean, just the fact that he made the tackle right after he gets a potential game-winning touchdown shows you that his head is in the right spot.
Yeah. Someone, Dr. Truth, is pointing out that he loves you, but the day after you said Bagent wouldn't be in Chicago in 2026, the Bears extend Bagent with $10+ million.
You know what? I don't be shocked if he's traded. I'll tell you why. That's what
I've been saying. Go ahead.
You know why? You got a set figure right now.
Exactly. Teams are loving the fact that they know what they're going to pay for the next 2-3 years.
You don't have to give an offer sheet.
Yes, exactly.
He's $5 million a year.
Yeah.
What are you paying for him?
Right. Frankly, I hope that they.
But
don't
at the same
trade
time, there is a love affair between Ben and him.
Yes.
And the kid, there's people that didn't like him. His rookie year and stuff. I said, hey, this kid came from a Division II school, comes in and starts 4 games and wins 2 as a rookie. Love the talent. It's why I say he could get traded is because he's got value. You got to have somebody to replace him. You can't just do it. You got to have the plan to replace him. But he goes from free agent to potential high pick just because of the way he's played in the preseason. And, he's played well when he's got a chance to play in the regular season. Not like he hasn't played regular season snaps. Some of these guys get traded for a decent pick and they never saw a regular season game.
Yeah.
He's played in like 5 or 6.
Yeah. I think that any team that needs a quarterback and loves what they are seeing out of Bagent on tape would love to try to acquire a guy that they know they're going to pay $10 million for them over the next 2-3 years, up to $16 million with this incentives. That to me is a no-brainer. He just becomes a more attractive trade commodity.
Absolutely, because now you don't have to write the big check on an offer sheet. Because the Bears could have. In fact, basically, they probably did a little better than that. I don't know what the second round tender is. And it changes every year. But for a quarterback, what a second round tender would have been or a first round tender. But, a team that was going to, put in an offer sheet, they got to write that thing so that potentially the Bears wouldn't match it.
Right.
Okay. So it's got to be a very lucrative type deal. Well, now you don't have to do it. You don't worry about it. You know what it's going to cost you.
Absolutely. D. Starin is saying, but Tyson wants to be here. Do you think he's got a no trade clause?
No.
what?
No.
Too
You know
young.
how many players get no trade clauses in the NFL?
Oh,
You
yeah,
can probably
Duncan?
count them on your fingers.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, but
That's a
agree.
hockey thing and a baseball thing.
Yeah.
Baseball players get them all the time, not in the NFL.
Yes. All right, I got some questions here that I have starred. Okay. J2K says, Greg, a lot of fans are concerned about Poles' draft picks not making the team. How does Poles rank compared to other general managers? I saw the Vikings have cut 8 of the players they drafted from the 2022 draft.
You know what? There's you want your first 2 rounds to really jump out, and after that, you want another 3 or 4 to stick around and be good. It's always a crapshoot. I think with Pickens, there might be, and I'm throwing the dart at the wall on this one. I think there might be some football character missing. Just that, because the guy's got talent up here. And is that a scouting issue for your guys that are on the road? Could be. I mean, what did the coaches at South Carolina say? Now, I don't know if that's in fact the case. I said I'm throwing a dart at the wall.
Sure.
But now you go, you look at it, they traded a 7th round pick for this Williams last year, right?
Yep.
I ended up being that was a good trade. What they got back, the guy had 3.5 sacks last year. He was running with the 2s. Reality is, this year in camp, Pickens was the number 6 defensive tackle because they signed, or in free agency, they get the one guy, then they draft Turner, and okay, so he just hit a numbers game. And I know for a fact, because a guy told me this, alerted me to it last night, that they were taking calls, hoping to trade him.
Oh,
Didn't happen.
Well, I got a whole bunch of more questions, so let's. For John, Sports Chicago Style wants to know, any interest in bringing in safety Bo Braid or running back Damian Martinez? I don't know much about Braid.
I don't know anything about him. I think it's safety. The team likes the guys they have more than the fans like the guys that they have. The running back, only because of injuries, there's a need. Now, Estime from Notre Dame he really didn't go on the wire yesterday. He'll probably be on the wire today. You can claim him. Declan Doyle was with him in Denver last year. So now it becomes, does Doyle like him? Or if there's something wrong with Audric Estime, Doyle would know what it is.
Yeah.
Because he's had him. So
sure.
if they, it's all theoretical. If they claimed him, it's because Doyle liked him. And if they pass on him, and they claim somebody else at the position, that means that either somebody in the first 8, which I don't see taking a running back when you look at who's picking in front of them or who has priority in front of them, then Doyle didn't want him. So it's real simple. It's the same thing with Isaiah Foskey. Dennis Allen had him for 2 years in the league. So, and he really, as Baldy said, he didn't do anything. So it's that's going to be a DA call whether you put in a claim on him or not. And then you got there's still a couple vets out there. Do they in fact want to sign somebody? The other thing is this. Some might say, we want to get somebody, but we're going to wait till after the first game. And that's because when you have a veteran on the roster for the first game, his contract's guaranteed for the year, a vested vet. Okay, you sign him the day after the first game, his contract's no longer guaranteed. It's week to week. You can get him the same amount of money, but if you cut him halfway down halfway through the year, you don't owe him any more money.
Okay. And regarding Damian Martinez, I loved him coming out of college. I thought he would have.
I don't remember much about him, so I'd have to do some work on him.
He's a really big power back type. You know,
people say he's like Monty. I don't remember him, so I
saw. I think it was Swifty that put that up on X. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, and I'm sure he's going to probably end up on their practice squad if he passes waivers, because I don't think you give up on talent like that. But Martinez is good. What about I just saw out of the corner of my eye the Eckler. Let's see, where is he? Oh my goodness! I saw it and it's disappeared on me. Cam, is it Cam Akers? No, not Cam Akers. The running back used to be with the Chargers. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, but I don't know who you're meaning though.
Okay, it'll come back to me, and somebody had just put it up too, so I wanted to get to it. All right, let's get to some other questions. J2K said, or not J2K, but D. Starren is wondering if they are practicing today. Was it only the 53 players that made?
Well, there was guys that are hurt that didn't. Booker didn't practice. You know, there's a few other guys, and Big Z had it on there that were probably, or Blackwell. I don't think Blackwell got. I haven't seen the final list.
Yeah, I haven't either.
These guys were dinged up. Booker was dinged up. Who else was dinged? DJ Edwards, and he left practice, and somebody else left practice with him because they were dinged up a little bit. You know, we're still 2 weeks out, 13 days out from the first game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not really that worried, and I'm just looking at the moves how they've made the moves, and they haven't made a panic move yet, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they know what the doctors are saying about these guys that are hurt.
Yeah,
you know. So, I mean, you know, if they claim a running back, or they sign a veteran running back, because a vested veteran, you can sign that guy tonight. You know, it's after 3:00 Central Time. You can sign them right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a vested veteran that got released. So if they do that, then, you know, it's somebody they obviously like.
Mm.
We'll have to see what the next few days turn out.
Indeed. All right, we got a question here from the Tooch, and he's serious about this. He asks, with news Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's engagement, can dating a famous pop star or famous star affect a player's performance?
Well, Josh Allen got married to an actress over the summer. And he was engaged to her for a while. Haley Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Didn't affect his game.
But I've always wondered about this. A person's personal life, if they're having troubles, right, or there's dramatic change, like sometimes you get married and wow, this is different than what I anticipated. It can kind of spill over into your work life, even if you're that can happen. Yeah.
You know, I'll be honest. I don't give a damn about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Okay, they put the damn camera on her too much. I don't get, you know, and everybody kisses her ass, you know, playing up to her and in the box. It's like, so what? You know? And you know, I watch all the Bills games. I've never once seen a camera put on.
Does she go to the games?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's adorable too. Jeez. Haley Steinfeld, actress, singer, and wife of Josh Allen. Tony has a question. Did Mr. Roger get out of here, Tony? with those questions. Did you see that Jay Cutler?
I just saw Mr. Rogers. I didn't see the whole question.
Did you see that Jay Cutler is going to jail for 4 or 5 days for his DUI arrest?
Well, hey, you know what's the thing? FAFO. You notice I'm trying to clean up my act here on this.
I noticed that. Thank you very much.
This is 2 weeks in a row. It's like I might have to put up a sign. I've gone 180 days without saying.
Let's keep count. All right, that's good. Cornelius wants to know who is going to replace Travis Homer in the running back room. Who's going to be that special teams guy? Were you surprised?
Travis Homer just been put on IR, designated to return after 4 weeks.
Okay.
So, they could end up just having 3 running backs for the first 4 weeks. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that remains to be seen. The one guy was cut, but they could put him on the practice squad.
Right. Are you concerned at all that the fact that there was just one healthy running back at practice today? And I know we don't know the extent.
Not really, because they haven't voiced concern.
Yeah.
That's why I keep looking for something like, the red flag on their end. And there's been no red flag on their end. And it's almost like, I think they only got 2 more days of practice this week, tomorrow and Thursday. Then they probably got the weekend off. Maybe tomorrow's the last day and then the weekend off, for the players. And, it's like, they'll be good to go next week. We'll find out. I mean, if they sign somebody or claim somebody today or tomorrow, we're going to know at noon tomorrow if they claim, or 11 o'clock tomorrow if they claim somebody.
Yep.
If they do claim somebody or whatever, we might want to do a little quick show or whatever.
Absolutely.
I'm going anywhere.
You still playing the Bachelor life there at the Gabriel house?
No, my bride's coming home this weekend.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm going there. I don't think I'm going to the game, but I'm going there for week 2 when the Bears are at Detroit. So I'm going to be in Detroit.
Excellent.
If I can find a way to get a couple tickets, and if she wants to go, I told her stay away from downtown. So because downtown could be rough in Detroit now. It's like Chicago,
I've heard stories. Yeah, all the downtowns in major cities are rough. All right, before we get back to a little bit more talk about the roster, I did want to get your thoughts on the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And primarily, what were your thoughts about the first team offense and the slow start that they got off to?
Well, the first play set them back. And so you were into 2nd and 15, 2nd and 16 or something like that. And then you had a pre-snap penalty, if I recall.
Yeah.
So it was like from the first play, it was bad. And Doyle said it, the snap was a little late, which I don't know if it was on the center or on Caleb. But that's why the handoff is like right here instead of right here.
Right.
So good play call, lousy execution of the play, set the whole series back. I don't worry about that stuff like a lot of people do because it's preseason. First of all, no player goes into a preseason game gung-ho to kill somebody. Especially veterans. It's like, please let me get through this game without getting hurt.
Yeah. And Kevin Byard said in yesterday's press conference, it was good that happened to us because I think we were reading a lot of
from the defensive side. Yeah. And I'll tell you that, Gravon Dexter has a tendency to get tall sometimes. He did when he was in college. And and I haven't watched the all 22, and I'm glad Baldy brought that up because Trey Smith is probably the best guard that he's going to play against all year.
Yeah,
but the defensive coaches are going to tell Dexter, hey, this is what you got to do, bro.
Yeah.
And, and so you can look at that as a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Turn it into a learning experience and a teaching experience.
Yeah. You mentioned what Declan Doyle said about that first snap. I have that soundbite. I want to play it for you because I thought it was very instructive. I went the next few days saying, Caleb shouldn't have fumbled, but there's much more to it, and Declan puts it in perspective for us.
The first, I would say, couple series were not up to our standard of how we wanted to play. Talking about the first snap of the game, what happens is we end up snapping the ball a little bit late. We end up having to rush the ball handling a little bit, and the ball ends up on the ground, which anytime it's on the ground, it's unacceptable. But obviously you don't want to start the game that way. And so negative play right away from the rip, and then we put ourselves in a second down and kind of a challenging situation. But that's something that, has to get cleaned up with the ball handling and the quarterback. And anytime we're going to be ball handling with a receiver, that's something that we want to make sure that it gets off. And so obviously disappointing, but that's kind of how it happened.
Was it snap timing or strictly just the handling?
It ended up just being the snap timing was late, and so because of that, as he turned and kind of handed it, we were behind, and so he sped it up and ball ends up on the ground.
I mean, that snap timing must have been off by just a fraction of a second because
we're talking this much.
Yeah.
But in saying that, you could say there's three parts to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's the cadence.
Yep.
There's the center actually snapping the ball, and then you got the receiver. Did he leave and start his motion a split second too early?
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't in the right spot.
Right.
So like I say, there's three different things that could go wrong there.
Yes, indeed. The other soundbite that, Dr. Truth says Declan Doyle is like a mini me of Ben Johnson. It's true. I went back and actually.
I'll tell you what, if Sean Payton put a stamp on him, and I worked with Sean for 4 or 5 years in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and if Sean put a stamp on him, the guy's a good coach.
Yeah, for sure. I saw recently when Ben Johnson was at the combine and talked about Declan Doyle, and he said, everyone is telling me that he is me, and I'm going to bet on me. That's why I want him on my squad. So that was pretty cool. And this is Doyle talking about Walker's performance, and he basically, you just had the feeling this guy was going to make the team after Doyle said this.
We were talking about it the other day. There are certain guys that walk outside for practice, and it's like a kid going to recess. Like they can't freaking wait to get rolling. And Jade is that way. Jade loves football. He showed up in that last drive, and I mean, the play he made on our sideline was one of the better catches that I've seen. I mean, it was really pretty impressive. But he's just a guy that has worked every day. He embodies the kind of love that you want for football on our team.
With
It was at that moment that I knew that he had made the 53.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a lot more guarded with his answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he let it flow.
Had not been the case.
Yeah, indeed. He was asked later about Austin Reed, the quarterback, and he wasn't as effusive in his praise.
And they've already met. They already discussed all this. They discussed it, Sunday and Monday morning before they had that presser yesterday. So. I think the decision was already made. I'll tell you that one chat group I'm on and X, I mentioned it. And I said, he only played 2 years at Texas A&M. He was at Grand Valley.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
That's a D2 school up in Grand Rapids.
Mm-hmm.
And he's from Cleveland. So one of the guys in the chat then found something on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It was his highlights from Grand Valley. And let me tell you something, it was pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, like Baldy mentioned Tisla. Well, they played basically in the same league. He played at Hinsdale. Grand Valley. They're all the same of the Michigan D2 schools.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, Tisla goes on to Arkansas. This kid goes on to Texas A&M. You know, and they each spend 2 years at the schools, and now Tisla gets drafted. This kid doesn't, but this kid, you know, his first year he had like 35 catches at A&M. Second year, 28. They didn't have a quarterback worth a damn at A&M last year. That didn't help the passing game, but it was guy's got talent. I remember we talked about him right after they signed him. You know, back in April, and I said, hey, you know, this guy's pretty good now.
Yeah, I remember that too. And he's been nothing but impressive in the 2-3 days I went to camp. And of course, that Kansas City game was just super. People are wondering about Carl Jones Jr. making the team, the linebacker. What do you know about him? J2K wrote he's an edge rusher, outside linebacker from UCLA who has transitioned.
Well, he's not an edge rusher. He's 5'11 and a half.
He's 5'11 and a half?
Okay. And he can fly. And you go back, and what did they say they wanted at linebacker? Speed. Now, he had an impressive camp last year, and then he got dinged up. They put him on the practice squad. He, like I say, he can run. He's smart. He can rush the passer. So he's, you know, at UCLA, he was an off-the-ball linebacker, and then they moved him up to an edge rusher. He was opposite Letu, that the coach. Okay. Yeah. Only like a 5'11 guy, but he could frickin' run. He was a good player, undersized. That's why he doesn't get drafted.
Well, they really have a commitment to getting fast linebackers now with Hippolyte and Jones on the team. We'll see. They'll probably.
He's another guy that, if I recall, and I got the APT somewhere buried in my computer from last year too, that I think he ran in the 4.5s.
Ooh, love it. Love it. What are your thoughts about the putting Tyler Scott on waivers? It was just kind of, you know, he just didn't do the job. Right?
I thought when they, you know, drafted who they drafted, and then they signed 2 guys in free agency, I thought the writing was already on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always figured he was gone. You know, he wasn't a high pick. He's a 5th round pick. And this is my own feeling, is like, you know, and it goes back because actually the last 2 preseasons he's caught the ball pretty well, but you go back to his rookie year, he didn't catch the ball very well. And you know, I'm like, can you trust him catching the ball?
Right.
No, he could be a guy they put on the practice squad because he can run. But, you know, he's got limitations.
Dr. True says, I think Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles are focusing on yak over speed as far as the wide receiver room. And yak yards after catch.
You know, all those guys they got can run.
Can run, yeah. Indeed.
Today was a 4.45, 4.44, something like that. Okay, now we go through. Rome is a 4.45. Burton is a 4.41. DJ is a 4.42. The DuVernay is a 4.39. Dudes can run now.
Yes.
I think the slowest guy is OZ, and he's like 4.49 or 4.50.
Good stuff. All right, let me see what I got here in terms of other questions. We tackled that one. I think J2K says that he sees a John Tate career arc for Ozzie. I could see that too, J2K. John Tate, the left tackle, played with Kansas City and Chicago Bears.
Yep. No, John was a good player for us. We signed him as a free agent. You know, I think people were expecting. I thought off the first week and a half, 2 weeks of camp that he had a chance, but it made sense when Ben said, because there's little stuff that we don't see and that they see in practice that, that we don't see. And he said his footwork on the left side isn't what it is on the right side, which means, and at this level, it's got to be. And so you're trusting him, and it's not to say that it won't happen.
Right.
It's saying that it, might take us a year to get him to where we want him to be.
Yeah, I think there was too many expectations on him, immediately landing this left tackle position.
Marv Levy, what he said, anything you get from a rookie is a bonus.
Yep, indeed. I mean, and maybe he will become a left tackle, but I really do think his future in the NFL is at the right tackle position. He's a road grader. And I don't know what they're going to do with Darnell Wright if that's the case. I'll tell you this, Greg, this is a make or break season for Darnell Wright.
Because you got to make up your mind May 1st next year whether you're picking up his 5th-year option.
Exactly. And he doesn't look to me to be anywhere near a $15 to $25 million a year offensive tackle. Hopefully he'll change my mind. But the Bears maybe were thinking about replacing Darnell Wright when they drafted.
I'm not even going to comment on it because they haven't played a game yet.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so it's let's see what happens when the whistle blows and the plays count. Yep. And then go from there, and then find out if it was a good pick or it was a mistake.
Right. Laz, I know, Greg, that you said you haven't studied the All-22 on Friday's game, but did you notice at all Benedict's play?
The guy plays. He's really consistent.
But
Amagaji played the fourth quarter. Benedict played third quarter. Amagaji played fourth quarter. Amagaji was in there for 2 touchdown drives.
Yeah, he did play well.
And played pretty good, darn good. But the thing is that it sounds like the coaching staff has made up their mind that Benedict's going to be number 2. Maybe he's going to be number 1. You listen to Ben today because they flat out asked him. He goes, "I'm not ready to name a starter."
That was hilarious. Brad Biggs asked him that question.
Yeah, I know. And it's like he cut him off real quick.
He did. And he paused a little while, and then he smiled. Good stuff.
I'll tell you what, he is such a breath of fresh air. That's one thing, when you see guys at assistant and, he calls a good game, but can he handle a team, blah, 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 and you don't know. Now you see him. Jerry, what's the word Jerry used to say? Oh, he's a glass eater. That was Jerry's word. That's what that dude is, man. He's a fucking glass. He's not a big guy. Don't mess with him. Oh, I almost swore there. Don't mess with him.
People are begging you to swear in the chat room. No.
I know I'm going to have some slips, but you see, it's. I found, and as Swifty told me, YouTube doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And so it can affect what Aldo brings in from YouTube.
Indeed.
I don't want to affect what Aldo gets.
You're a very nice man. Dr. Chu says,
this is a partnership here. You got to take care of your partner.
There you go. I love that. Partners. Dr. True says, I like Karan. His potential is decent to me. Minimally, he'll make a solid swing tackle. And Dr. Truth may have missed that.
He's a starting guard.
Yeah. So that's the plan. They're going to move him to guard, and we'll see what happens. Laz is asking you to please watch that Benedict film. He was consistently horrible. Oh, no.
I will, but I don't agree with that because I do, I kind of watch it, half-assed when the game's on at real time.
Yeah, right.
I know what was screwed up I had, and I'm glad I recorded it because the game went overtime. I got Xfinity now, so. The rate what I had set for recording, that ended with like 8 minutes left, 9 minutes left in the game.
Oh,
But
no.
but when I saw that could happen,
Yeah.
I
Recorded the news or whatever.
I recorded the post game show.
Okay.
And it went all the way up to the last play. Did not include the touchdown. The play before the touchdown was on there, but not the touchdown.
That's funny.
Or the kickoff. So, but I got most of it. But I know Benedict played the third quarter, so I can watch the third quarter.
Mr. Shorty, who is a YouTube expert, says Greg is harping on that too much. YouTube clearly states that swearing is allowed. That's why there is the option, is this made for kids? Meaning it's the channel, a children's channel. Yeah, but I think, Mr. Shorty, what Greg is saying is that
The advertisers.
yes,
advertisers
there's a smaller pool of advertisers who will advertise on your show if the F word or any other swear words are used.
Yes, we're going to turn this into a family audience.
The Gabriel Talks Football rated.
Pretty soon I'm going to have a
rated
grandkid
G.
here, cuddling the grandkid.
That would be hilarious.
Have a bottle, feed the bottle, what the hell.
Indeed. Jesse says, why would they move Karan to guard when he's a prototypical left tackle?
Because they don't want him to be the number 5 left or the number 5 tackle.
Yeah, they're loaded at tackle. That is for sure.
They don't have necessarily. They don't know who their number 1 tackle is, left tackle is, but they actually got depth at tackle.
That's right. Isn't that wild?
Really? When you think of it.
That is wild. Yeah. Well, does the old saying apply here? If you have more than 1 left tackle, you don't have a left tackle.
I don't know about that. I think that this team's a lot better than the people are giving it credit for.
I agree with you 100%. By the way, Bruce Ollie Walter Jordan is suggesting a title change for the show. How about Gabriel Swears Football? I kind of like that. It's got a ring to it.
I'm a good I'm a Catholic, and I'm a good King Catholic. I was brought up by the nuns.
Oh, really?
Sisters of St. Francis.
Yeah. So you didn't swear in front of them, but they still wrapped you across the.
Let me tell you something. When I was in grade school, they did that. I had
me too.
A teacher, 3rd grade. I can remember like all my grade school teachers. I can't remember a lot of things, but I remember that. So
That's wild.
3rd grade, Sister Marie Rosaire. Okay, we get out of school at 2:15. We start at 8 o'clock. We're done at 2:15. They go down to the buses come at. But I walked home. I lived like 130, 140 yards from the school. So anyway, at 2:05, she'd call names, like 3 or 4 names to come up, and she'd spank their ass. They were the bad ones that day.
Yeah.
Now, she'd get thrown into jail today. But this is like 1959.
Yeah. Wow. 59. You were in school. I was in the crib.
Well, I'm trying to think. Let me see. I'm born in 51. So I'm 5 years old in kindergarten, 6 years old in first, 7 years old. Yeah, 1959.
Wow.
59, 60 would be my 3rd grade year.
My Catholic school story is there was a priest at our school who everybody loved. He was such a nice guy, good-looking guy. They called him Father Clark Kent. And so one day he comes into the classroom. He is angry. He says, last Friday, a student here pushed a girl into some rocks, and that girl is still in the hospital. And he starts walking around the class. I'm seated in the back, and he's coming closer and closer to me. I thought he was going to mistake that person who committed that crime against that girl and me, but thankfully he walked right past me, picked up the kid seated next to me, and I will swear on a stack of Bibles, that kid, he tossed him to the front of the classroom. I had never seen a kid fly across a bunch of desks. He landed on the floor, and then he raced out and took him out into the hallway. All I heard was screaming. Oh my gosh.
remember Tim Russert
Yes, the great Tim Russert.
for NBC News?
Yes.
Meet the Press.
All right.
Was a year ahead of me at high school.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Same school?
At Canisius High School.
Yeah.
So I got his book, and he devotes, I think, a whole chapter to Father Sturm, who was the prefect of discipline at Canisius High School. He was a Jesuit. Everybody loved Father Sturm after they got out of school. You were scared to death of Father Sturm. Father Sturm's go. So I'm a freshman. So I know, and you don't get through your freshman year without getting jugged.
Yeah.
They just, if you're, I had to take the city buses to school. It wasn't like we had the school buses, and there's snow, and if you're late for school, you get jugged. But there's full of snow out there, jugged. No, and he just gives it to you because you're going to learn from it, right? So take an earlier bus when it's snowing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, when we had assemblies on Friday, Jesuit school, there was no talking in the hallway. There was like the classrooms on one side of the hall would walk single file. The kids would walk single file on that side, the other side single file on that side to the auditorium where we'd have the assembly, and you couldn't talk. So I'm in the first freshman class, and there's the 10th graders are in front of me, and it's Russert's homeroom, and two guys are talking. One guy's name was Jekyll, and Russert wasn't talking, but I remember the one guy, and they're talking to each other, like doing this, or they're facing this way. Father Sturm standing at his door, sees them talking. All of a sudden, he comes walking across the hall. Boom! Oh! Right into the side of the head. and other guy, I mean, like splatters him on the wall. And he just looks and he goes, "There's no talking."
Jeez. Never talked
again. Today, he'd probably have an assault charge.
Exactly.
But everybody just revered Father Sturm.
Yeah. Russert was a big Buffalo Bills fan.
Well, he grew up in South Buffalo, where my daughter lives now.
Mm-hmm.
And his son really, he has his relatives there, but his son Luke really lives in DC, and he's a big Bills fan. But Russert is a really, really good guy. I got an autographed copy of his book that he wrote. It's really it's a treasure to me because he's just such a good guy.
Yeah, I've heard so many.
Even if he was a liberal.
He was a liberal, yeah. Bruce Ollie Walter George says all who have attended Catholic school need therapy.
No, I tell you what now, though. The one thing, you're close to me in age, we respect people.
Yeah.
That's like right. It is now. I see the stuff these kids do in school now, and it's like, shit, we'd never think about doing that.
Yeah, no way. Times have changed, like Brian Baldinger told you at the top of the show. And if you joined us now and are hoping to see Brian Baldinger, you missed him. But the show will be available on demand. Greg, any final thoughts? You want to try to do this again tomorrow or in a couple of days?
Well, I mean, let's play that by ear. We'll just see if anything happens. If not, we'll go. We got Labor Day next Monday. So you want to go Tuesday again next week?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Tuesday, yeah.
I think my wife will be going back to enemy territory on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she'd be gone. She'll probably leave first thing in the morning.
Okay. Well, best way, of course, to know when we are live is to subscribe to the channel.
I gotta find out what tickets cost.
Yes.
In Detroit, because I know I can make a phone call, and maybe get some tickets. So, but I got to see what it's gonna run.
You got to ask her first if she wants to, because she may say no.
When I was working for the Bears,
she
wouldn't miss a game.
Really? Love it.
Oh, she was at. I sat with Jerry. She was in my seats.
Okay.
And she wouldn't miss a game. She loved it. Even when she had, was ill and getting chemo and that, she was never missed a game.
Well, I wish my wife was that way. My wife would rather stay home and watch old episodes of Dateline. I think she's trying to learn how to murder me or something. All right. Mr. Shorty says, just don't go bull guarding the British Bear Show at 3 p.m. Sorry about that. Mr. Shorty over at BCP and I have a kind of a handshake agreement. We'll try not to have our shows on at the same time, but sometimes it just happens. We were lucky to get Brian Baldinger at the time that he said.
Well, we had to wait on Baldy, and then we wanted to get the cuts in.
Indeed.
Otherwise, we're at normal time.
Yeah, exactly. Can't wait for the start of the regular season. By the way, on that opening Monday night, do you want to do a show Monday to preview the game, or would you rather do Tuesday?
No,
we got to think about that.
Monday, and then, I don't care. We can do both.
I think everyone in the chat is for that idea.
Well, if they lose, it's going to be an awful show. I might have to swear.
You're allowed to. All right, thank you,
But
Brian.
I was going to argue with Baldy, but I said no. He's nice enough to come on. I don't think Minnesota's going to be worth it, Darren.
I agree with you. There's just no way.
And because the whole team's a quarterback.
Exactly.
And any way you slice it, he's a rookie. I don't care if he was there. He's a rookie.
Yeah. Now, he might turn out to be a Jaden Daniels, but I doubt it. He's going, he's going to have a tight rear end because he's going on the road, but he's in his hometown. He's probably going to have 100 people in the stands. And so he's going to be nervous just because he's playing in front of his home folks. That's a great point.
Yeah, he's from down Hinsdale area.
Yeah, I was going to say Naperville, but you're right. It is Hinsdale. It definitely is Hinsdale. I
don't know if it's exact, but it's one of those towns right by Hinsdale that he's from.
Yeah. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on the Vikings. We got a lot more programming coming up the rest of the week. Greg, great show. Thank you for locating Brian for us and having him on the show on the network here. And we will see you all next week.
Next week. Thanks all, everybody.